everybody. I'm hoping that you're well today. There's a bit of a glut of me on YouTube today, I'm afraid. I think there's 3 videos going out. But because you're all so engaged with the drawing one, I didn't want to let the site down. So I thought today I'd vary it up a bit and we'd do a toadstool. Or a mushroom, I'm not really sure. I don't know what the distinction is. But this is what I've sketched. This is what we're aiming for today. And it's easier than yesterday's. It's easier than the tulip. I hope you'll find it's easier anyway. So, where are we in our book? Page 1. Oh, I've skipped a page, look. And then the tulip. Right, well, I'm going to go back to this page that I've missed out by mistake and make this day 3. Right, I've got my pencil, I've got my eraser, I've got my fine liner, and that is all I need. Well, I have got my reference sketch as well, but I'll put that up there so I can actually use it as reference. And let's have a look. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is the cap on the top of the toadstool. So it's a good idea to just mark, I want it to start there, I want it to end about there, and I want it to be so high. So I've got my 3 points of reference that I can now draw my cap. So I'm just going to draw it first off just with a straight line. I'm going to turn my paper around so I can carry on going like that. So I've joined up those 3 little points of reference, but we've got a kind of picky triangle, which I'm not exactly sure you can see. Let me just put that in a bit firmer for you there. That's not really the shape that I want. I like the 3 points of reference, but I don't want that straight line. Nothing really in nature is straight. It tends to be more organic, doesn't it? It's nature. So let's just go over this and just bring that in a little bit there, up a little bit, back in a little bit. Just kind of do the hokey cokey. Turn around, that's what it's all about. So I'm just making that line not quite so straight as it was, okay? So let's draw the bottom of the cap in, and it's going to be an arc, a part of a circle here. So there we are. We'll leave that as is. That's not doing any harm at the moment. We'll come back and deal with this very soon. And then we want the sort of stem. I'm sure with a mushroom or a toadstool that has a specific name, I'm going to call it a stem. So let's just draw it in at about the thickness we want. So they're quite thick, aren't they, in toadstools? So I'm going to make it from there to about there. So it's not exactly parallel. I've taken a bit of a kink in there. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a toadstool. Now, this bit under the cap, of course, is going to be dark. We know that from yesterday, that anything under anything else is always darker. But then as it comes down, it comes out. It's not really straight. It's knobbly. And then when it comes down to the bottom, it fattens out a bit. Okay? So this side, we're going to do the same. We're going to come down here. And just where it fattens out, we're just going to fatten it out a little bit, not quite as much as the other side. Come down and then fatten that out there. So there are some lines now that we can erase. They've done the job for us. We don't want that one inside there. We don't want this one inside here. Or these 2 here. Okay. So now we've got something that looks a bit lumpy and bumpy and a bit odd, but that's okay. So I'm just, with this circle that's the bottom of the cap, I'm just going to roughen that edge up. So I'm just going to go sort of around, just make a squiggle over it. That's what you want to do, really. Okay. So we've got a squiggly cap, we've got a wiggly stem. Yeah, all's well with the world, I would say. That looks okay. Right, so let's deal with the stem first. This bit under the cap is dark, so let's put that in first. We know that that's going to be dark because it's in the shade of the cap. So I'm just going to make that bit right under there very dark. And I'm going along the shape of the cap. So down here as well is very, very, very dark. There we go. And just down here as well. There we go, down each side, just like that. That's fine. And then coming down here, this bit here, it's really lumpy and bumpy, not smooth. So I'm just going to put some little marks in like that, just to make it look ridgy, not smooth. Okay, but I'm not coming right over to the centre line. Here's my centre line. I'm not coming that far over. I'm just putting little marks in. Tiny little short marks. And then this under here will also be dark. So let's just draw that in there. And this will be dark because it's in the shadow. So it's sticking out. So it's depriving this bit here of light. And once again, I'm just going to draw some really little marks like that in. Not in any planned fashion, just little marks. So there's no skill involved at this, it's just little marks. And because it's bulbous, like the tulip was yesterday, coming out, we're going to see more of this shading at the bottom, like that. And it's going to go away to nothing pretty much here at the top. So just some little marks, like that. So we can all do that, that's easy to do. It's just little marks, all right? So then under here, we've got the same thing. It's bulbous, it's rounded like that. So here we're going to want it to be light, and as it goes away to the sides, it's going to be darker. So we're just going to draw some wiggly lines in here, wiggly squiggly. They don't have to be, and go over the what you've drawn as your outline. Go over that. Just make it look rough all over the place. A little bit of a shadow in there. And down here, just with the rough lines. I find that difficult at that angle, so I'm just going to move my paper. So I'm just putting rough the lines, but they're just squiggles. And I'm going over the edge, like that. And then this part here in the centre is fairly light. So leave that light. And at the bottom, just come in again with your squiggly lines, like so. That's fine. So there we have it. We've got the shape of a toadstool. So I'm just going to come over and just draw some, it's texture. That's what I'm trying to portray, that this has got a texture to it. So I'm just going to come over my squiggly lines and I'm going to make the straight marks the same as I made up there. So just like that. Just give it some texture. And then I'm going to come back over these, make these just a little bit darker. Come over the edges of the stem, just to make it look a bit more interesting. There we are. So there we are. We have the stem of a toadstool. So let's deal with this cap now. Let's see what we're going to do with it. Well, I want to lose that peak on the top, so I'm going to make that more round, like that. And everything else I'm quite happy with, quite like the shape, everything else. But I just want to put some texture in it, because close cut mushrooms that we buy in the supermarkets, they have a very smooth cap on them. But I can't think of another mushroom that has that. They all have texture on them. So we're going to try and draw that texture in. And we're going to draw it with little circles. Little overlapping circles. And I know that everybody can do this. So go over the side of what you've got down as your edge of your cap, and just little circles. And make sure that you overlap them, so you're getting this funny, sort of funny looking texture. And we're going to carry on going up towards the middle, because we know that the sides are in shade. So we'll just put a part of down here a good bit darker to make it look like it's in the dark, further back. And let's do the other side. So little circles coming out over the edge of the toadstool. Lift your pencil. We're not trying to draw spirals, more like circles, but overlapping, I should say. So there we are. So we've got, that's quite dark and that's quite dark. What we need to do now is make it lighter as it comes in towards the centre, but we still want the same texture. We still want to give that impression of the texture. So move your hand back on your pencil. That way then you can't get too much pressure on it. So with your hand moved right back on your pencil, we're just going to draw these little circles. And you can't help it, with your hand being where it is, you can't get that much pressure on your pencil. So it will work out okay. And if you see anywhere that's evolving that looks like a line of circles, just go back in over the top and draw some circles so it doesn't look like it's a line, because that's not what we want. So we'll do this, and then we'll come in again and see where we need some more shading. But that's just giving us some texture there, as I hope you can see. So where do we need some more shading? Possibly a little bit down here. So I'm going to move my fingers further nearer to the pencil point, and just, this is kind of halfway. It's not full shade and it's not full light. It's just a little bit darker than the very central section, lighter than the edge. So just be patient. And as I say, if you see anywhere forming that it looks like a line, just go back over it and draw some more circles over the top. Right, there we are. I think that looks okay. I think that is recognisable as a toadstool. So just while you've got your eye in and you're doing all right, let's do another one. Let's do kind of I think it might be the same sort, just not quite opened yet. I don't know, not a world expert on toadstools. So this one, let's draw the stem first. Let's draw it from here, and it comes down and it gets thicker as it gets to the bottom. And it's at an angle, this one, as you can see. And it comes down like that and gets thicker as it gets to the bottom. And then on the top of this one, it's a circle. Now, don't freak out at having to draw a circle. It doesn't matter if it's not exactly a circle. Like I've just said to you, very few things in nature are exact. So just do your best to get a circular shape. Don't cheat and draw around something, because that would be cheating. Just do your best to draw a circle. Whatever it's like will be fine. It really will. This is a sort of nature thing, so like I say, it'll be fine. now we're going to draw our circles in again. We're going to presume it's the same species as this, but I really don't know. So I'm going to draw my dark circles here and my dark circles here, and try and make the edge not exactly circular. So if your circle wasn't exactly circular, it'll look better. I'm trying to make mine not circular now by coming outside the line. Right, so now we need to go into semi-shade, like that. One of these days, very soon, I will explain to you, I'll give you a good demonstration of how you can work out where light and dark should be. And then it'll make things so much easier for you. Right, so that's that. Now, I'm going to presume that the light is coming fairly straight on at this. And I'm just going to erase that piece there, because that's where the light is absolutely on. And this is where the light is on there. So I'm just going to erase that. So it just gives it a real point of focus. Now we've got this stem to do. So once again, up under here is dark, really dark. Like that. And then we've just got lines again. Just these light texture lines down the stem, down each side like that. And it doesn't matter if you come over the edge, really that's fine. I'm just going to darken the edges down, just the same thing, lines, just darker down the edge, like that. Okay, so there we have our toadstool. It's got a nicely textured stem and its mummy or friend or whatever it is up there. So we've got our shade under the, right under it, right under there, nice and dark, and right under here, nice and dark. And there we go. So yeah, recognisable as toadstools, but let's just amp it up a little bit, shall we? Just for fun. You don't have to put this in. You absolutely don't. It's just I did. I'm gonna, because this looks so autumnal, and in autumn all the leaves fall off the trees. I'm just going to do a couple of leaves. Now I know you know how to do these because we did them on day one. So I'm going to draw them sideways on, which we did on day one. So I'm going to start here, go round, come back, start here, go round, try and make it not exactly the same shape as the top. Then I'm going to draw my central vein in, which is there, and always goes to the stem. Very seldom does it go to the top, so just a shape like that. Then I'm just going to draw some veins in, just a V like that, crossing over the central stem. I'm just going to put another one in here, just lying alongside it, just like that. The central vein, try not to bring it to the point of that, that would just, it wouldn't look quite right. And I'm going to rub out this part of our toadstool because the leaf is lying in front of the toadstool, and put my little veins in like that, and they just need a bit of shading. I'm going to use the side of the pencil. I'm going to hold my pencil like this, like that, so it's flat down onto the paper, and you might want to practice that a little bit. It's not difficult, something you did all the time as a kid. Just put your pencil down and just rub it along like that, so it's a light touch, just like that. So I'm just going to put some shading on these, just down at the bottom, like that, a bit darker at the very bottom, and then light over the rest of it. Whoops. So same here, darker at the bottom, maybe darker at the end as well. 'Tis autumn, they've fallen off the tree. So there we are. Got a couple of leaves lying there. Now, in order to make it look, this is easy, you'll love this bit, we're just going to put some grasses in. And they don't have to be perfect in any which way at all. So I'm left-handed, as I keep saying, so I'm putting mine like this, so I can move my pencil from the point of origin of the grass, which is the ground, up to where it goes thin. If you're right-handed, you might want to twist your page that way, so as you can use your pencil and draw it from the origin going up. So you'll have to work that one out for yourself. I'm going to have to sharpen my pencil, I think, because you need it quite sharp for these things. I save all my shavings for Mr. F when he's lighting the fire. So there's a nice sharp point on there. Right, so I'm just going to start. Let's start from over here, shall we? Just from the origin, which is now going to be that leaf, but actually it's starting behind the leaf, and it just comes up. And that's it. That's your grass. Just make them varying lengths. Like that. Make some thicker parts, some thinner, some shorter, some longer. And of course it's in front of the toadstool too. So don't forget to put them in there. Not so many that it's gonna, you won't be able to see your toadstool, of course. So just flicks, that's what we're doing. Flicking some grasses in. So there we are, we've got some grass down at the bottom. So that looks great. One thing I would say is it doesn't look like it's on the ground. It's just floating away. It's in mid-air. And we need to do something to it called grounding it, which sounds major, but it honestly isn't. It's just to give it something to rest on. So I just want to give it some ground to sit on. And it's called grounding. It's no more complicated than that. So just give it a base here to sit on. I don't want to go right to the edge of the paper or anything. You know, this is our picture, that's all we're interested in. So just like that, just give it like that, and it'll ground it. It'll give it something. Just want to come up to that leaf there. There we are. Just up to where that grass is. So there we are. We have our toadstools, our autumnal picture. Now I, of course, am going to go over mine with my fine liner. I notice that a lot of you don't do that, so I'm going to stop at this stage, call it done. I know it feels like there's a lot of techniques in here, but there absolutely isn't. It's squiggles and circles. That's all it is. You see all the circles here? Just circle upon circle. The dark shadow under the cap, that's essential. Then the swelling of the stem, because you find that in the toadstools, it's what they look like. And the dark shadow under that, because it's dark under there. And then the stem swells as it gets to the bottom. Same thing here, it swells just a bit, but there is dark shadow up under there. And we've got the light coming to there, and a couple of leaves here on the bottom just pretty it up. And then the grounding. Okay? And altogether, I know you can do it. I know you can do this. you can draw little circles and you can draw little lines. Okay, so please have a go. I can't wait to see what you do, and I'm really sorry I'm so late putting this out tonight, but like I said, I've been doing other videos, so I can't wait to see what you do with it. If you can draw these, you can really include these in your journal or anything that you're doing. An art journal with, you know, a stenciled background, and then you draw some toadstools on it. I mean, you're becoming an artist. It's an exciting journey. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you very soon. Take care now. Bye.